something going on around the swimming pool? Because I drove over here today in Manhattan. There appears to be a gigantic new speed bump.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
It's not marked. There's
I
no
gotta tell you,
lines.
I didn't know it was
Just
coming.
this huge mound of tar.
DOT, I mean, did you know it was coming, speed bumps?
It's not marked because when it gets dark, it's going to be interesting.
Well, there's a speed bump on Manhattan Avenue, on just before Engert, I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that's the way I
Yeah, it
come
just
to
came
work.
that way. It's huge.
And there is a sign that says speed bump. I
Oh.
caught it in the corner of my eye just as I hit it. And it's black. You know,
Yeah.
usually speed bumps are colored yellow. I did see that. I didn't know it was coming. We'll call DOT.
They need to put thingies on there or something. It's a surprise.
To get back on the subject of bikes, can people make appointments with the 94th
Yes.
to get them etched? I mean, I know that some time ago it was Officer Multeri, but apparently now it's a new officer. What do? They call and
You
just
can
make an
call,
appointment?
Ask to speak to the crime prevention officer, and they can make an appointment. Absolutely.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good. All right, to wrap things up, plans for our summer, we mentioned before, August 7th is National Night Out on the block next to the precinct. It's a great time if anyone hasn't come, especially for kids. The Harmony Day Picnic, July 19th. This is something that's done every year in Brooklyn. All the precincts get together with community affairs and have an event. It's done in different precincts every year. This year it's going to be hosted by my precinct and the 9-0 over at Cooper Park on Mass Bank. It's going to be a nice day. Other events coming up, our first concert of the year is June 15th and June 16th over in McCarran Park. It's the softball court next to the high school. And then after that, all the concerts after that are down by Kent Avenue this year. It's a slightly new location. Other events, the Mount Carlo Feast starts July 5th through the 16th.
And Williamsburg Walk.
And Williamsburg Walks, starts this Saturday for the next 3 weekends.
Where?
We hope.
Where is
On Bedford Avenue, from Metropolitan Avenue to North 12th Street. So, yes.
I read it quickly and I didn't read the article. There's something about the NYPD is going to start doing reckless driving enforcement. Like they were not allowed to do it before or something like that.
No, I didn't
There's
see
some
that.
kind of weird headline about.
That's something we always could have done, and there's been a push for that from time to time. And it's a summons, or if it's that egregious, the person could be arrested for it, and we used to seize their cars. Highway does that from time to time. I mentioned at our last meeting, a big focus of our speed enforcement is on McGinnis Boulevard. That's where we do most of our speed enforcement. As of last month, I haven't looked at the numbers recently, but we're one of the highest precincts in Brooklyn for just the raw number of speeding summons we've written. We've doubled the number we've written this year versus last year. And just not all of them on McGinnis Boulevard. There, Meeker Avenue, we write some. So, yeah. All right, so I'll open the floor up to all general questions, not just traffic and bicycles. There's more than just traffic and bicycles. But, we'll start, Tom, go ahead.
Well, the fire. Do you want to say anything about the fire and the death?
All right, the fire, Friday night, there was a very bad fire on Concealia Street, just off Manhattan Avenue. I was working that night. Fire spread very fast. I got there just as fast as the fire department did, and the top 2 floors were fully engulfed. A woman did lose her life. Fire department did a fantastic job, but the building, I think, is a total loss at this point. Thankfully, everyone was able to get out. So, and that guy that was in the paper who knocked on everyone's door, I spoke to him that night. And he certainly did save some lives. He really did. He was a hero. Yeah, sir.
Yes, I got one question.
Yes, sir.
In the police department got a new sign for right now. This is legal, it is not illegal.
I'm sorry.
Like this is legal and not illegal.
Yeah, someone likes to play, has nothing else to do in their life, so they make funny signs up that we have drones in the area. It says authorized drone strike. we don't kill people with drones. We may spy on you with a drone, but don't tell anyone. You'll see these all over the north side.
But I think the question is illegal, and you're not allowed to put
No,
any
you're not
signs.
allowed to. Sorry. We've actually asked DOT to take some of these down, especially when they graffiti the stop signs and whatnot. But yeah, no, the NYPD doesn't have drones. It's a joke. Is what it is. If we get the chance, we could arrest the person and catch him doing it. We will. Just like the guy who put the box of lights in the bed. Anything else, please? No question, sir.
Hi, my name is Robert Bernetti, and I live at 593 Leonard Street.
Okay.
I have 3 points. First of all, Miss Alicia Winnicki, the principal of wanted everyone to know that Flag Day is coming up on June 14th, I believe.
14, yes.
And she wanted to extend an invitation to everyone to attend their annual Flag Day. It's a really great ceremony. It won't be on Norman this year.
Yeah.
It'll be on Hector, I believe.
Yeah, we
because of traffic.
can't use it because of all the traffic and whatnot.
That was one thing. The other thing, one of the other points is bars that are opening. A huge amount of bars opening up in the neighborhood. Some are opening up in the middle blocks now, and I'm just curious, some of them are using backyard patios. They don't serve food, and can they do that? There's no noise on the street because people are in the back, but they're just drinking, and they're drinking fests going on, and it gets really loud. For instance, my kid's bedroom faces one of those bars. And I'm just wondering, I wanted to ask a general question to the community board or police. What's the
No,
situation?
it's a case-by-case basis. Some of them can get permits for it, some of them, I would say, bunch of them don't.
What?
The community board has been very active in that issue.
Mhm.
It's frustrating. You want to mention that actually? Want to talk about it? Or?
I can mention it.
You want to?
Who do I ask about permits, whether they have them or?
The state of New York has not regulated backyards, and Assemblywoman Millman was trying to get backyards regulated. So now if we get new bars who come for liquor licenses, the SLA committee or community board gets them to sign a stipulation that if they're using any outdoor space, they have to close by a certain time. I think it's either 10 or 11 Monday through Thursday, and then it's like 1 on Friday and Saturday. And that stipulation is supposed to be attached to their liquor license. Now, the problem is the SLA and Consumer Affairs don't have inspectors, so it falls upon the police. And there's this thing, an LD6 or an L, whatever it is, there's some kind of form that they can fill out, which then gets sent to that agency, and that agency has to send an inspector out. But a lot of the new places have signed the stipulation, and every renewal we're trying to get to sign the stipulation. But there are some bars that just will not follow it whatsoever. But then, if there's enough complaints, then the precinct gets together with a bunch of city agencies to do what's called a march, which is a multi-agency response to community something or other. I don't know what the H stands
Yeah,
for.
I don't know if you understand.
And they go in with the health department, the buildings department, the fire department, the police department, and they write them up for everything, because they cannot have fires in the backyard. The stipulation we have is that they have outdoor space, they have to be serving food, and the kitchen has to be staying open.
What if there's no food, just a bar on it?
Well, we had one bar that came with all its neighbors and said they've been there for 100 years, and they've always served liquor, and everybody loves them, and so they sort of got around it. But most of them were saying they have to be serving food, and it has to be real food, not just peanuts. And because we have a couple bars, there's one guy who owns like 22 or 23 bars, and his food is the free pizza with a beer. And that's his sidewalk cafe excuse. And Consumer Affairs has sort of let him get away with that. But if you get enough complaints, and the precinct hears about it, and they line up the troops and go in. Also, the conditions officer, if you have a specific place and you bring it to the inspector, he'll point at the conditions officer and say, could you go talk to them? And sometimes just getting talked to by the police
It helps.
helps. But the community board's trying to do it, and there's the SLA review committee reviews the liquor licenses. I do the sidewalk cafes, because there are rules for sidewalk cafes. There are no rules for the backyard, but some of these bars, the backyard is not in their certificate of occupancy, so their fire capacity is only based on their interior space. If it gets really crazy, the fire department will say you don't not have fire escapes for the number of people in your backyard, and then they close it. So there are ways, but it just takes a lot of work.
Let me just, you have a follow-up question?
It's related.
Go ahead.
Because I'm here for a similar issue. I live on 880 Warmer Street, and there's a bar on 597 Manhattan Avenue where our backyards face each other. And it's a new bar they opened less than 2 years ago. It's the No Name Bar.
Yeah.
And I'm here with my landlady tonight. We have this persistent issue. And I think that 1 a.m. on the weekend is far too late. I mean, there are kids living in our building that are 5 years old. There are people consistently screaming in the backyard. And even after 1 a.m., people sneak into the backyard. The owners can't control it. The people open the windows and the music just pours out. It's a huge nuisance.
It's a very significant problem. It's not just your bars. I can think of 10 places that are a problem with this. Some of the things we've done. The police department meets sort of on an annual, a quarterly basis. It requires the local borough command to meet with what we call a nightlife association. It brings in a bunch of bar owners to come down to sort of give them the lay of the land type of thing. do separately here in this precinct, because we have such a significant nightlife atmosphere, is they have formed their own association here of Greenpoint, Williamsburg bar owners, nightlife owners, and I met with them a few times. What we do, and these people are, they're the good owners, and they want to be good neighbors. They've developed their own network. When we get some of these complaints that we get through our 301 system and whatnot, we email them through my community affairs office to say, hey, these bars are getting complaints. To put some peer pressure on them from their peers to fix the problems. That doesn't mean you can't go there and do something about it on that night. And we do give bars noise summonses. We give them solely premise summonses. We've done some work to shut at least 2 of them down in the last year. We shut down, was it Coco 66, right? That was the other place? Yeah. And we shut down for a temporary basis Club Europa, which was on the corner of the precinct. They're back open on the new owners. A bunch of legal. Was that? I don't think we closed that down, though. I don't think we did. They were just closed. They may have. Some of the stuff is very frustrating. I feel for people who live on the block. And Bedford Avenue at 2 in the morning sometimes is like Times Square. I refer to it as Times Square. I've done that several times. People's just voices will carry in the middle of the night. You can't give people someone that's talking loudly on the street at 2 in the morning, which, unless they're unusually being disorderly. And most of them, they're really not. They're just a little intoxicated or they're just being loud. If it was 2 in the afternoon, you wouldn't notice it. The bar doors opening and closing. One of the things that we've given some summonses for is a lot of these bars, their new thing is just open up these big bay windows. We've made them close it. We've given them summonses for that. 1 or 2 of them, the place on, is it Guernsey and Nassau, right? The beer hall? Can't remember the place.
Spritzenhaus.
Spritzenhauser. When they first opened, they were doing the same thing. They were decent enough to say, all right, we'll keep our side doors closed. And I went by there just last Friday night, the night of the fire, and then they were doing that. So some of the places are responsible, and some of them aren't. Some of these bar owners, in essence, are just like drug dealers. Here in our neighborhood, they're serving their alcohol, and they don't care about the neighborhood, they don't care about what's happening.
Not to put you on the spot, but last night at the Public Safety Committee meeting, your officer said that nights and weekends was recently cited for
Yes,
noise.
For noise, yes.
Any deets or?
It was like 2 weeks ago. It's just, they're one of those places they have their window wide open, play their music. If you can certainly hear it from Manhattan Avenue, it's excessive. We can go there with a sound meter and get decibel reading, which we didn't do, I think, for nights and weekends, but if in the officer's opinion, it's unreasonable, he can still issue a summons.
Okay.
I didn't say who I was because it's like
Oh, okay.
there'll be people throwing things at me. I'm Tom Burrows, the alleged war on brunch person. Right, don't stand too close. But one of the stipulations that we have them sign includes if there are any doors, windows, garage doors, whatever that you open, they're supposed to get closed at 10 o'clock. So if you come to one of our meetings, we can give you a copy of the list of what they're
That's not
signing.
something I can enforce, can it?
It's part of their liquor license. They're supposed to go with their liquor license. So we need to talk to, I gave Lieutenant Paget a copy yesterday, so.
But their backyards can be open till 1, you said? But
The
their windows have
backyards
to be
are on
open till
Fridays
10?
and Saturdays, and they're not supposed to have a door, the doors to the backyard are supposed to be self-closing and not open at all. And we've told all of them that they have to put umbrellas over the tables or some kind of canvas over the table to keep the sound down. We had an issue with a Mexican restaurant on Bedford Avenue where the customers would leave and then the staff would go out and party in the backyard. And the owner was like, all my customers leave. I said, yes, and your staff is the one that's making all the noise. And she didn't realize that, so then she got them all in shape and got them all inside. So sometimes, like the inspector says, there are some owners who just are like, we're going to push the rules until you can figure a way to stop us.
What organization are you with?